need you to forgive me for doing it, because I'm doing it. Basic human rights, and it's right and wrong at this point, and I can't see another commercial.
Get ready to tackle Taylor's shady backroom deals, alleged betrayals, lies about her origins, and so much more as we investigate the lies she got caught in. Up first is the jet. Taylor Swift is a good person, or at least her marketing team presents her as one. We can't really know anything about her true self when she's had a PR rep for most of her life. What we do know is she has, numerous times, proclaimed her love and care for the environment, and spoken on how important taking care of the environment is. And it's true, it's really important, it's all we have left on this earth. But does Taylor really believe that? Well, they always say actions speak louder than words, so what have her actions been? Well, this year she's taken 170 flights on her private jet, giving her the single largest carbon footprint of any celebrity on Earth. Now, some of these flights can be justified. You know, she is a pop star that has a lot of obligations around the world, and so a few flights to reach critical events and venues on time could be excused. But Taylor flies for everything. Anything, it seems. She takes flights that do not need to be taken, where a simple bus or train would not only save significant money, but also would massively reduce the amount of carbon emissions she is responsible for. We've always heard that one person can't save the world for climate change, it's just too big of a problem, but one person can definitely contribute to climate change, and for someone who claims to be eco-friendly and supports saving the planet, Taylor contributes a huge amount towards the greenhouse gases and pollution of the world. In 2022, she was responsible for 8,300 tons of CO2, over 500 times the average American's output, and 1,000 times the average European's. In the span of 3 months, she produced 138 tons of CO2 just visiting her new boyfriend. Next is her high school popularity. In her early career, Taylor often posed herself in a certain light, one that was no doubt manicured to ensure she had the best chance of success. She posed herself as the sort of weird and quirky loner girl who wasn't popular in high school or with boys, and just had to escape by creating all of this beautiful music. Except Taylor wasn't some weird loner girl sitting in the back of the class. She's a tall, pretty blonde girl who can sing with rich parents. That's practically a recipe for middle and high school popularity. There's even an alleged video showing her to be a sort of ringleader amongst her classmates. But her high school career didn't last very long, as she only spent about 2 years in high school before her music took off and she started touring. Apparently, after she got big was when she started to be shunned, envied, and disliked by her peers. Taylor wouldn't have long to suffer though, as she was soon one of the great rising stars, and even invited her high school class to her CMA performance and award ceremony. Classy. Next is lyrical confusion. We like to think of there being an old Kanye and a new Kanye, as if the brainworms just appeared overnight, but Kanye West has always been a contentious figure. He just used to keep that contention out of politics and within music. But everyone knows about the infamous 2009 VMA award speech that was hijacked by an animated and boisterous Kanye West. Since then, their relationship has been rocky, with the early 2010s being full of will they won't they drama, with it seeming like they were friends sometimes and then enemies at other times. But it resurfaced when Kanye West released the song Famous, in which he, using some derogatory language, made it clear he thought he was responsible for Taylor's success by making her so famous with the 2009 drama. Never mind that Taylor had already released several hit songs and was in the act of receiving an award, Kanye is apparently the true architect of her success. When the song was released, Taylor immediately fired back, making several public statements deriding the crass and demeaning remarks. But then the situation boiled over, with Kim K claiming that Taylor had in fact given the lyric the green light, that she was in on the joke with Kanye and was only now pulling back to make him look bad, effectively stabbing him in the back. Kim even provided an alleged recording of the phone call. Taylor's media team outright denied the claim, but it leaves the question, who did Taylor lie to here? Us or Kanye? Or did Kanye even ask for permission at all? Next is the 3-chord miracle. Taylor Swift is the epitome of not overcomplicating your work. Nearly every single song of hers can be played with a total of 3 chords. The ice cream chords, which are the foundation of modern pop music. That's not the drama. It's not just Taylor who's responsible for bland and samey popular music. No, the real drama comes from the fact that Taylor claims she actually accidentally learned how to play guitar. That's like saying I accidentally learned how to bake a souffle. Apparently, she managed to pick up those 3 chords from a couple of conversations with a handyman working on her parents' house, and from those few conversations, her natural talent and effortless skill made her a pop songwriter overnight. Except that's not quite the truth. I mean, the story's basically correct if by handyman you mean guitar teacher and by a couple of conversations you mean months of consistent weekly guitar lessons, and by accidental you mean after significant time, effort, and intentional focus. And by effortless skill, of course, you mean dedication and hard work. If you mean she was taught over the course of months by a guitar teacher the same way every other normal guitarist learns it, then sure, you could say a handyman gave her some tips and she then became a worldwide pop star. Next are her humble roots. Taylor claimed to be just a good old country gal when she first hit the scene, born to a working class family that really knew the meaning of struggle, that she lived on the farm and worked on a ranch, that she's an honest success story from humble beginnings. Except that's not exactly accurate. Sure, she worked on a farm, a Christmas tree farm, but that was more of a holiday home. That's not where her family made their money. No, both of her parents were financial advisors for Merrill Lynch, one of the world's largest investment management firms. The Swift Group, founded by her father, actually still exists. Now, numbers are a little hazy, but for comparison, an average Merrill Lynch financial advisor is making about $130,000 a year, meaning with both parents working there, she was easily set up for life even before becoming a pop star. This is a really important thing to note, because Taylor posing herself as a farm girl who just made it from humble working class beginnings sets a false precedent. Making it as a musician is hard, very hard, but it gets a heck of a lot easier when you don't need to worry about paying rent, or affording food, or getting sick, or anything like that. There's a reason why the vast majority of successful artists come from wealthy backgrounds, because the arts don't pay well, especially when you start, and it's a lot easier to stick it out and keep working until you find success when you simply don't need to worry about keeping a roof over your head, food in your fridge, and something as silly as a job. Next is Messy Mayer. Taylor has gotten a lot of mileage out of her relationship with John Mayer. It's not exactly a surprise. She made her fame writing songs about ex-lovers, and it only makes sense to stick with what brought you to the dance in the first place. That, plus John being a renowned and famed guitarist and musician, really makes their relationship a valuable deposit for her to mine for as much platinum and gold as she can get. And boy did she. Dear John and other songs absolutely savaged the musician, especially calling to attention the really icky and uncomfortable age gap, with Taylor being 19 and John being 31 when they started dating. Now, first, I'll preface this by saying, yeah, that's really gross. No 31-year-old should be dating a 19-year-old, and yeah, it is pretty creepy. But John fought back against the accusations of exploiting and manipulating her by reminding the world they only dated for 3 weeks, not even a full month. Obviously, some pretty horrific things can be done in far less than a month, but Taylor posed the relationship as a toxic mess that ripped at her psyche, when it seems like that might be a bit of artistic license. And finally, the exploitee to exploiter. Age gap relationships with teens are gross. Flat out gross, and I'm sure that's something Taylor would agree with, and has, as we just observed, made many comments to that effect. But power imbalances and exploitation can be present with anyone, and just because you were once on the young side of an age gap doesn't give you the right to go out and then be on the old side of one. Because just 3 years after her supposedly horrific relationship with John Mayer, Taylor was the one taking advantage of someone younger. She dated Connor Kennedy when she was 22 and he was 18. However, they first met when he was 17, right after his mother had passed, and she bought the house next to his, which sounds a little creepy. She dated Taylor Lautner when he was 17 and she was 20, and she dated Harry Styles when he was 18 and she was 23. These aren't the worst age gaps in Hollywood, to be fair, but they are still pretty unsettling. It seems John Mayer may not be the only famed musician who likes them younger than he is. Remember folks, harm is harm, exploitation is exploitation, and many of these relationships give me a serious ick. Those were Taylor Swift's biggest lies she got caught in. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.